Welcome to being incarnated on planet Earth. You are now gifted with the supernatural abilities because of our planet passing through a sector of the universe that activates God DNA within every man, woman, child. You are the new keeper of the flames of love. You are the keepers of supernatural powers when you invoke I am. And you are the gatekeeper of miracles every day and every way. I salute you in the spirit of Ubuntu. Ashe, Aho, Donada, Wado.
Out a call to the warrior in you, to the healer in you, the king, the queen, the magician, the lover in you. Every single day, we are called to walk in our purpose. Answer the call. Lay down your burden and anything that holds you back and take your rightful place. The battle is everywhere. It's right in your face. Let's go.
Welcome to magnets, crystals, and pyramids. Success is your destiny. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Remember always who you are. Yes. Yes. I am. Love, wisdom, power. Yes. Yes. I am. Love, yes. Power. Yes. I am. Yes. I am. Love, wisdom, power. Yes. Yes. I am. Love, wisdom, power. Master. Yes. I am. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Yes. I am. Say yes. To yourself. Yes. I am. Protected. Yes. Yes. I am. Master. I am. Yes.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Moorish Monday with Abdullah Il Talib Mosi Bey on Magnets, Crystals, Pyramid YouTube. Always want to give a shout out to Uncle Hank for this is my year anniversary, 1 year anniversary. I'm into my second year now, and definitely I'm excited about today's show. I have a wonderful guest with me today. She hails from Maryland. She is an associate professor at Prince George's Community College. She's working on her doctorate now. She's gonna be Dr. Anitra Butler-Ngugi soon. That'll be soon. All right, so today's topic is etymology and vocabulary as taught in lessons, taught in lessons by an college associate professor.
Yes.
So, Anitra, tell us a little about yourself and how you came about finding out who I am.
Okay, sure. Will I be able to share my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, you better share your screen.
Okay. Just share my screen here.
That should pop right on.
Okay.
See,
Let's see here. And I'm telling it which window that I want to share.
right.
Okay. All right. So
All
here we
right, here we
go.
go.
Hopefully you can see it. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm gonna put my spectacles on.
Okay, so yes, I am Anitra Butler-Ngugi, and my last name comes from Kenya. My husband is Kenyan, and I am a teacher educator at Prince George's Community College, as stated. I am a former reading specialist, special education teacher, English language teacher, and elementary school teacher. So I've been working in the school system for quite a while now. And I actually specialize in developing lessons for non white children. So that's what I'm studying for my PhD in curriculum and instruction. I want to specialize in designing lessons that are not geared toward the settler colonizer, if you will. So some of the courses that I teach are processes and acquisition of reading. So this is like a beginning level course for teachers to kind of learn how to teach reading, how is reading learned. Then I do instruction of reading. I do assessment of reading, materials for teaching reading. And then I also teach introduction to special education courses. I do reading courses for our content area teachers, the high school teachers. So that's teaching reading in the content areas. And then I do courses in multicultural education. And with my background, I just had to share this book that I read, Lisa Delpit. She is an American educationalist, researcher, and author. And she wrote this book called Multiplication is for White People, Raising Expectations for Other People's Children. And I bring this book up because our
Are you
talk.
are you trying to share your screen or
Yes,
no?
can you see? Yeah, I
I
am
don't.
sharing
We
the
don't see
screen.
it. No, we don't see it.
Oh,
You
okay.
had it up there.
Oh, okay.
All
Let's
right.
see what's happening.
What's up?
I was actually in presentation mode, so okay, let me stop it here. Let me stop sharing. Okay, let me try it again. Maybe what's happening is I need to uh, share the presentation. Okay, let's try this. Let's see if that works. Okay. Can you actually see it now? Is it working now?
Here we go. Yes.
Okay. So I think when I go into presentation mode, that's when I lose you. Can you see it now? I'm in presentation mode.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. Okay, yes. So she wrote this book entitled Multiplication is for White People, Raising Expectations for Other People's Children. And she based it on a comment that she heard from a young African American boy. And basically, he said, multiplication for white people. So this kind of took her back because she's thinking, why would this child associate this with white people? So in a sense, she said that the boy had internalized a belief shaped by systemic racism and low expectations that advanced academic concepts like multiplication were not meant for people like him. And she opens the book with a list of gripes, complaints that she has with the public school system. And I just wanted to share a couple of them. So, one is control of education by corporate wealth, and the settler colonizers' way of doing things. Corporations rule everything. Another angry point that she had was that marginalization of experienced educators. Like, they don't want experienced educators in the classroom, they want the inexperienced teachers there to keep our students, I guess, for lack of a better word, dumb. And then the third thing that she was angry about is the corruption of charter schools. Now, that can be a very touchy topic, and I'm not going to touch that, but she mentions that in her book. Then she mentions the market driven power that they have, that they use to bring money. So, in a sense, they're using like a business model for schools, and we shouldn't be treating kids like objects. And then she said they use lack of research-based policies. narrow focus on education is more on discipline and policing kids, and then standardized testing fallout. So she goes through all of that, but I bring her up because there's a point in her book where she's talking about if we just do a better job of vocabulary development, we could just really turn the achievement of our students around 100%. So, this is a direct quote. She says that the trend now is to relegate low income children to senseless instruction, divorced from real literacy activities, right? And so, here's my word, I'm saying that these activities don't go towards our liberation. So, public schools aren't really designed for the folks that were here before the settlers came, right? So Malcolm X reminded us that only a fool will let his enemy teach his children. And I have to say that I am embarrassed that I was a part of helping the enemy teach our children. I was kind of blind to this whole thing for years. And I didn't wake up until like around 2018. And at that point, I'm like 15 years in the game of helping the enemy with our kids. Okay, so that's my introduction. Let's look at the current situation here. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want
What?
to?
Yes, that was that's very and that you came to that awakening.
Yes.
So I just wanted to honor you for that. And you
Thank
came to
you.
that awakening, and you actually moved on that. There's those who come to that an awakening, but go, there's nothing I can do about it, you know. But you, not only did you come to the awakening, you decided that I'm going to make a change.
Yes. Yes. And I felt bad. I was kind of beating myself up. But I came across some folks, who are also quote unquote woke, who said, no, don't beat yourself up because you didn't know. And my good friend always says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so when I guess as a result of that awakening, I became ready, and it was just like the floodgates open, like all of this knowledge and information just came in. Um, so let me just show you this quick clip right here. Here's our current situation where most of the schools in the settler colonized nations implement a curriculum implicitly designed to center the perspectives and histories of the settler colonizers, right? So as a result, non white students are marginalized within that framework, rarely encountering their histories and contributions. And often, when they do encounter them, is as secondary. So it's like the settlers are centered in our world, and that's a part of our problem here. What Bobby Wright would call menticide, right? Everything's focused on the settler. So Baba Mwalimu K. Bomani Baruti, or people mostly call him Mwalimu Baruti, he was one of the ones that said, don't beat yourself up, you didn't know. But now that you know, he said, at least prepare our children for public schools that are designed for the settler colonizers. And it's like, whew, okay, that's a huge task. But the more that we have on the inside of the public schools and on the inside of teacher training, I think the more we can prepare our kids, you know, even if we don't have an alternative of not sending them to public school, if we can only send them to public school, at least let's us prepare them, right? So Delpit says, well, one way that we can really prepare our kids is through vocabulary development. So, vocabulary development is one of the most powerful paths to literacy, especially for children who do not have access to the middle class vocabulary that schools expect. Unfortunately, it is also one of the most poorly taught aspects of the curriculum. Look at that quote right there. It is the most poorly taught, and I can attest to that. It's really kind of hit upon, and it's kind of done in a sloppy way. Like they will throw 5 vocabulary words up on the board and then say, these are not only your vocabulary words, but they're your spelling words. And it's like, well, wait a minute. If you really knew how the brain operates, you would not mix vocabulary words and spelling words, because spelling is operating with patterns and vocabulary is focusing more on meaning. And so if we are just kind of haphazardly teaching vocabulary, then you can see that we are pretty much setting our kids up. So this is a quote that Brother Abdullah Bey actually shared with me, and I researched and I pulled this quote, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so true. So Philip K. Dick said, the basic tool for the manipulation of reality is the manipulation of words. And if you can control the meaning of words, you can control the people who must use the words. Do you remember sharing that with me, Brother Abdullah?
Oh, absolutely. Probably about what, February, March?
Yeah, it was about a couple years. I don't know if it's been 2 years yet, but yeah, it was around the first time when I kind of reached out to you and you told
Yes,
me that, and I was like, oh my God. Oh
of
my
last
God.
year, February, March of last year.
Okay, of last year, yes. And so I took this quote and I ran with it and I started sharing it with the teachers. And a lot of them were like, huh? What do you mean? They did not realize the power of words and the power of our language. And so I was actually teaching them the ingredients of language. And I know this visual is not very good that you can see
Mm.
it visually, but I just wanted to run down that on the left-hand side is the theoretical aspect. So that's where you have the phonetics, the phonology, the morphology, the syntax. So I teach the teachers about all of those aspects of language. But then on the right side, those are the things that are just as important, but aren't really taught, where you have the sociolinguistics, right? So how is language used in social relationships, the psycholinguistics, the ethnolinguistics. So I don't really go into those. The only aspect I go into is the neurolinguistics, is what's happening in the brain with language. But on the bottom there is something called historical linguistics, which kind of links to the etymology piece, where we don't even touch in schools. So, for the most part, when I'm teaching the teachers about word knowledge, vocabulary knowledge, I show them this developmental progression that the students go through as they are learning to read and write. And I want to make sure that I am emphasizing writing as well, because reading and writing are reciprocal processes. And our school system, one thing that uh, Malimu Barudi said is that the school system is actually working. It's doing its job. Remember, the settler colonizers created it for them. So it is working. It's been working for the last, X number of years when public school became available. And I would say, what, 100 years maybe? I would have to go back and look at that history. But it's working, right? And so what's happening is we're focusing more on reading and less on writing. So we kind of have kids that are half baked, right? They're so called good readers, but when it comes down to writing, they can't write their way out of a paper bag. But yet, both of these uh, activities go hand in hand. So on the one side, we have the word knowledge. So how do we develop word knowledge with our students? And so it starts off early with the letter knowledge, and then we have something called phoneme awareness. And the reason why we have to teach that is because the kids need to be aware that words are made up of individual speech sounds. And so I literally have to train the teachers how to enunciate the sounds correctly. So a lot of people will tell me, "Oh my God, you have a beautiful voice." And it's like, "Oh yeah, well, I train myself to enunciate sounds, because as a reading teacher, when you're working with students who may not be familiar with certain vocabulary words, they need to be able to articulate those words and be able to articulate the syllabic parts of the word and string it together, because people judge you based on your language, how you speak, how you talk. And so I tell the teachers, when you're teaching children, you have to make sure that you yourself are enunciating the words correctly, because you are their speech language model. And so from there, we go into phonics and sight words. And so I talk to the teachers about how to teach phonics. Some words you cannot use your phonetic knowledge with, so it has to be a sight word. The kids just have to memorize that. And then we have the multisyllabic words. And this is where the breakdown happens, where we start to lose kids, because this is where we start to bring in more Latin and Greek roots. Because if you look at the next level, you got your roots, your prefixes, and your suffixes. And this is where Brother Abdullah helped me, because I needed more development here. And then look at the last step, word origin and history, right? And a lot of times schools don't even get to word origin and history. And you'll see why that's important. I see a lot of folks commenting on Brother Abdullah Bey's YouTubes where, wow, you're this powerful etymologist. Like, thanks to you, now I have an interest in looking at these word origins and looking at, what is the point, right? So all of that is working together as the children are going up these developmental steps, if you will. And so we have the word knowledge on the one hand, but then on the back end, we have that language comprehension and the vocabulary happening. And so it's one thing to know a word, but there are different tiers in word knowledge. And so sometimes our students don't even get to those deeper tiers of understanding what a word means. So there's something actually called word consciousness, right? And you hear people going around saying that they're conscious. Are you conscious? Yeah. There's a lot of varieties of consciousness, right? And one of them is actually word consciousness. So it's one thing to help our children become conscious of their history, conscious of these settler colonizers and the games that they play to keep us oppressed. Part of their games is the use of words, the use of language, right? And one book that I use with the teachers is the Word Conscious Classroom. And they pretty much say that word consciousness can be thought of as the metacognitive or metalinguistic knowledge that a learner brings to the task of word learning. So when you hear the word metacognitive, think meta, above, cognitive, your thinking. So above your thinking, or we tell the teachers thinking about your thinking. So what are you thinking about these words? And then metalinguistic is kind of like thinking about your language, thinking about what you know about the English language. Now, if you don't have a good foundation in grammar, then how can you effectively think about the English language? And so Brother Bay has a whole unit on grammar, right?
Yes.
And so once upon a time, elementary school used to be called grammar school. That's where you got all of your fundamentals, your basics. Now, grammar school is no longer. We do a piss poor job of teaching grammar. So the students' metalinguistic awareness is kind of poor because they don't really know grammar. And so that's one thing that I've been working on with the teachers. When we're teaching vocabulary, we're teaching word consciousness, you have to teach grammar. So the development of the conscious control over language use and the ability to negotiate the social and academic language of schooling are particularly important for students who do not generally fare well in school, right? So it is very important that word consciousness is developed, critically important. And then the differences in the type of language structures, interaction styles, and vocabulary found in many homes means that the language of schooling is significantly different from the language many students encounter prior to entering school. And so you'll find that around fourth grade, we call fourth grade the slump year. That's when the children's grades, their report card grades, will start to decline because the language really takes off in school. And if our students don't have strategies and skills for learning vocabulary, understanding grammar, how the language is working, then they start to fall behind. And then parents get concerned because they're like, oh my God, in third grade, he had all A's or she had all A's and B's. Second grade is the same. But fourth grade, there's a switch. And we start really gearing up on the content. And so that's where the public school system starts to fail our kids. And if you know anything about children who are of African descent, you know that we are ahead. We are way ahead of the settler colonizers. It's documented. Amos Wilson has a whole book on the psychomotor development of African children, African American children, and we run circles around the settlers' children. But once we put our kids into their schooling institution, then it works on us to rewind our skills, to kind of degrade us, if you will. And so by the time we get out of high school, going through the 12, 13 years of programming and conditioning, we are pretty much conditioned to be dumb. And I need to find a better word. Okay. Any thoughts on that?
Well, that's a very, very interesting. I want to you to tell the listening audience, because that's one of my favorite quotes of Philip K. Dick, "The basic tool for the
Oh,
manipulation of
yeah.
reality." When
Yes.
when you introduce that quote to your students, what were their reaction? Were there any that you facilitate any discussion of around the quote? What were some of their responses?
Yeah, so when I shared that quote with them and it was brand new, we were getting ready to start our unit on vocabulary, and it was just like deer in headlights because it was like they hadn't really thought about it. And I don't know if you heard that um, analogy where they say, a fish in water, they aren't really aware of the water. That's pretty much how we are in our culture. We are not aware of the power of words and how words are used to actually manipulate us. And so after sharing that quote, I literally had like crickets. And I said, "Okay, what are your thoughts here? What is he saying here?" And I gave them background on who he was. He's an author. And as an author, you really have the power to manipulate reality, right? Because authors create realities. So a lot of the media that we're reading is created reality. A lot of these textbooks is created reality, right? Whose reality? The settler colonizers' reality. And so these people are using the power of words to control the information that is given to us to construct these realities that we're in that's not reality.
So you said that you heard crickets.
Yes.
Were at what point that with no one gave a response? I think that and I can see where the cricket comes in, because like you said that this is a quote that they've never heard of. This is a
Yes,
concept, actually a concept they never even thought about, and
exactly.
nor that it even existed, of manipulation of words.
Yes.
That we're controlled through the manipulation of words. So this is, I think that this is something that needs to maybe spend a good time with in the classroom, to maybe a lesson needs to be built around this quote.
Yes.
I think that's what it is. A lesson has to be. And then when we talked about this quote, when I first introduced this quote to you,
Yes.
I said to you that you would have to facilitate, because you have to facilitate, give examples. You would have to give examples. That's what it was. You had to say to you that you would have to give examples to your students on how this is being applied.
Yes.
Uh,
Because one of the examples I used was what you told me, the
mhm.
social engineering aspect. Like this is
Yes,
how social engineering happens.
yes. So actually, give detailed examples would help. You know,
Yes.
you would.
So
For instance, well, I think
mhm.
I gave you a few words. We saw the word slave. The word slave
Yes.
is one. And so you would actually you would have to give them actual examples, of slave, nice, consider, disaster, desire. You would have to, the 7 days of the week, that, etymology of the 7 days of the week, how culture is being suppressed, how our culture is being suppressed through the manipulation of words.
Yes.
The word color,
Yes.
was
And
in,
black.
and black, you know, how the word that means hide or conceal now comes to mean being associated with complexion, skin tone, uh, shade, or hue.
Yes.
Yeah, so you would that would have to be, and once you get the examples going, then then they can see it. They can see it.
Okay. And
Right.
you raised a good point because I actually did that with
Hmm.
a conference. I had taught this lesson at the Teaching Black History Conference, and it's given every year by the University of New York at Buffalo. And I showed them this same exact quote. Again, I said, what are your thoughts on this? Quiet. And at the end, I gave them the examples: family, slave, nice, lady, all those words that you told me to use. And at the end, after we did the exercises, one lady came off of mute and she said, "Oh my God, I'm just speechless because I never knew this." So a lot of people are not aware. We go and we live our daily lives, but we really are not aware of how words control our reality.
And then particularly for our people, how constructive meanings suppress our culture.
Yes. And that's the biggie here, right? So we really have to prepare our kids to understand, how is the settler colonizer using these words to maintain,
To
um,
maintain.
yeah, and keep you oppressed.
Yes.
That's a real
Yes.
education instead
Yes,
of
it
the
is.
senseless activities
Yep.
that Lisa Delpit mentioned, right? Okay, so we know that words are not isolated units. Brother Bay did a good job of showing me that, how they're all connected. They are multidimensional with connections to other sets of both semantic and linguistic knowledge, right? So there's going to be a section where I'm going to show you a short little clip of Brother Abdullah Bay teaching, and he's talking about true meaning of words, right? That would be the etymology versus what we currently call the meaning of the word, which would be semantics. How are we currently interpreting this word? And then the linguistic knowledge would be the grammar, like where does that fit in? Now, right now, I'm required to teach the teachers these dimensions of word knowledge. And so here we show the teachers, okay, you teach the students the word, you teach them synonyms, antonyms, yada, yada, yada. But one thing you'll notice that's missing is etymology. So right now, we're only showing the teachers how to do word connotations, which is the semantics. How is that word used in a social setting, culturally, idiomatically? Because that's where the engineering happens in the connotation. This is how I can get you to think how I want you to think and maintain your oppression. And then we have that box of multiple meanings. And so words could have multiple meanings, but later on you'll see, as I did from Brother Abdullah, that the true meaning of the word typically is that last entry in the dictionary, right? Versus all of those entries at the top would be the current way that we're using the word. And so I always find it interesting. Like, say, for example, if the word was family and we put family in the center, And the connotation of the word family, it's great. It's a group of people that's related. But if you actually look at the etymology of the word family, it means a group of slaves. So it's like, oh my God, we are still using the colonizer's language. And so one thing that I learned is instead of using the word family, use the word kin. So now you're not referring to yourself as a slave, right?
Good point. Good point. Absolutely. Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, make sure that we're still together, right? Okay, so here is an example of word consciousness. So think, for instance, of everything you know about the word erupt. You may know that it is related morphologically to other words like eruption, erupted, and rupture. And you may also have thought about the types of things that can erupt, like volcanoes, people, geysers, boils, or pimples. Or your thoughts may have turned to what emerges during an eruption, such as lava, anger, steam, the pus from the pimple. All this knowledge is linked in your mind, along with an understanding of what sort of scenario might include the word erupt and other words that might appear with it. So, all of this is happening as a result of word consciousness. So, what happens is we find that if a child does not have background knowledge on the word erupt, then none of these things are happening. So, it's a brand new word. Maybe they've heard of it, but they're not familiar with it. So, what we do is we make sure that they know the word. So now you've heard it, you know how to pronounce it, and we give them a meaning for it. Now, words have several meanings, but we might give them a basic meaning for the tasks at hand. But eventually, we want to go in depth with the word study. But the way that they set the schools up, they kind of make it almost impossible for you to do a deep dive. And so a lot of this stuff has to happen outside of the school hours. So, the more times you encounter a word, the more information you build up as what we call a word schema. So, that schema is like your collection of words, your word bank in your mind, and it's literally called a lexicon, your lexicon. And so I tell the teachers, hey, everyone in here owns a lex, and they're like, huh? And I'm like, okay, not the Lexus, but a lexicon, right? So it's up to you to expand it and make it work for you, make it valuable. So, word consciousness involves being aware and interested in words and word meanings and noticing when and how new words are used. So, individuals who are word conscious are actually motivated to learn new words and able to use them skillfully. So, how can we develop word consciousness? Well, look at the first thing, wide reading, right? We're not going to get it watching Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, YouTube, right? We have to cut off the boob tube. Francis Cress Welsing said, people, please turn off the television and read. And we really have to emphasize that because my listening audience, AI is on the scene. It is here. AI is replacing the average student. So if you are a C student, artificial intelligence can do C student level work. You have to be better than the artificial intelligence. How can you get better, right? You have to read. You have to get that knowledge in your mind. And we are designed, we as melanated people, we are 10 times better than artificial intelligence because we have ancestral intelligence, the other AI that will kick in and pretty much make the colonizers AI obsolete. So we have to wake up. We have to educate ourselves. We have to read, right? All right, playing with words, poetry, puns, riddles, jokes. Believe it or not, kids don't get jokes. They don't get riddles, right? You tell them a riddle, knock, knock, and they're like, huh? What do you mean, huh? And I was surprised. Like, if you tell kids a knock, knock joke, they don't get it. So I don't even know if people still do knock knock jokes these days, you know. Writing and then use of word references, and that includes the dictionary, the thesaurus, etc. And so here are a couple of the tools that I've been using with the teachers. For example, excuse me, I use Visio words, and let's see if you can still see my screen here. Um, okay, so it looks like I have
Uh,
to stop sharing because I'm now trying
Not
to.
clickable. You trying to
Yes.
click on it?
Yes. So I think what I've done is I need to now share another screen here.
Mhm.
So I'm going to uh, share here. Okay. Okay. So now, can you see it here? Let's see.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, this is a website that actually helps the students to see how words are connected. So, earlier, I think one of the words you mentioned was color. So, let's do color.
Mhm.
And so, what'll happen is in the center, that will be our target word. And then it'll give you kind of like a set of related words to color. And so here it gives you the parts of speech. It is noun, verb, adjective, adverb. And so the kids will come over here and see the different ways that color can be used. Or let's look up erupt, because that was one of our sample words here. And it does the same thing. So I like how it gives the cognitive
You know what?
tool.
Go. You know what? Go
Oh,
back to
uh-huh.
color.
Okay, so go back to color. Okay.
Yeah, I saw semblance.
Oh, okay.
I saw. Yeah, go back to color. I saw something.
Okay.
I saw the word. Where is it? Oh yes, semblance. Yeah, semblance.
Yes, semblance,
See
gloss,
now,
color.
semblance is related to its its etymology.
Ah,
Yeah, semblance.
okay.
Yeah, simulacrum. Parent from that which is real, distinguished from that which is real. So semblance,
Okay.
semblance is the only word that is associated, as far as its etymology, is with color. That would be the only word. Like which word, like I said, which word belongs. If I play the
Ah,
which word belongs game, then it'll be the word, it'll be semblance. I just
okay.
wanted to bring that forth to the viewers, that semblance will be the only word that be etymologically and legally and its meaning uh related to the word color.
Okay. Now, see, thank you. See, I'm still learning every day. I had no idea.
Yeah, right there, semblance. They threw semblance there.
And see, I was thinking, well, okay, well, why would that be there? And I didn't even notice because I was just looking to see what they put around.
Yeah,
So they put
falsehood. Yeah, I saw
adjectives.
the word falsehood when you just pulled up
Oh, okay.
something.
So
Yeah,
let's see.
falsehood. Yeah,
Falsehood. Let's
deceptive.
see.
Oh no, I saw.
Okay, there's tinge. Okay, color, vividness. Okay, then
I think
over
go to
here.
click on semblance. I think
Okay,
go to
so here's
semblance. I think
semblance,
that's what it. Yeah, there it is. Our word, a token, appearance, or
appearance, or
form
form.
that is deliberately misleading. Yup, deliberately misleading. Yup,
Yes.
that's color. That's color. He
Okay.
hoped his claims would have a semblance of authenticity. He was that.
Tried to give his
Try
falsehood.
to give his falsehood the gloss of moral sanction.
The
Yeah, so
situation
that's
soon took on a different.
that's the only
Yeah.
word that is related to the word color.
Etymologically. So that
And
would be a
legally,
lesson.
etymologically and legally. Yes,
And legally.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's do that for family. Let's see what pops up
Hmm.
there. Okay. So we have family in the center.
Mm.
And it looks like it gives us a bunch of nouns here. And then it's giving something, I don't even know how to say that word. Akentur. I don't even
That's
know.
that's Greek. That's Greek because it's day die. I can to day. I can I can I can
Akintarade.
Tar
And
tar Tariday. Akintarade. That's right. Akintarade.
now the other thing that I
That's
do
Greek.
with my teachers, there's a website called How Just Say. So if we can't pronounce it, I take them to this free English website and then I have them to type in the word to see how to pronounce it. So let's go back and see how you spell it. Let's see. It's A can and then TR. Let's
Yeah,
see.
yeah. ACAN.
Okay, so ACAN and then I think it was
Yeah,
THUR.
THURIDAE.
Okay. Ah, here it is. It just popped up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it just popped up and let's see what it says here. Okay, now hopefully you can hear my computer. Did you hear that?
No.
Okay, so I guess my sound is not sharing, but it said a Catherine die.
Catherine died. Oh
Yes,
wow,
Catherine die.
Catherine
So
died.
let me see if I share again because I want you all
Yes.
to be able to hear my sound. And let's see here if I share screen. Okay, follow these steps to share an audio. Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. So it has to share screen.
Mm.
Okay, while I try to troubleshoot my sound, are there any questions from the audience here? Okay,
See, you see any questions?
okay, let's see here.
You said you was going to show a couple of videos of me.
Oh, somebody had, oh, yes, yeah, that's why I want to make
Yeah.
sure I got my sound
Right.
on.
Oh yes.
Someone here is saying, what is the word we should use for children or child? Oh, that is an excellent question there. Okay, so let me see here. I want to share my screen. All right, and it showed me how I can do that. So sorry about this. Okay, I want to go to Chrome and I want to turn on the sound. Okay, okay, Chrome and this one. Okay, okay. Let's see what child comes up for child. And by the way, the other tool that I use is etymology. It's called, I'm sorry, eto, et, etymonline.com. Etymonline.com. So
Mm.
I took the teachers here and we pull up the word child, Old English, fetus, infant, unborn, or newly born person from Proto-Germanic kiltim. And so I have them read all that. But then Brother Bay taught me to look for the PIE, which backs the word up to its Proto Indo European word, which shows that it was taken really from the um, Sanskrit language. Okay, so here I'm not seeing the PIE. So this looks like it's all coming from Old English. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So here, infant to child, also found in French, infant, Latin, infans, meaning one's own child, offspring. Okay, figurative. Okay, such as. So I'm not seeing child per se. So child seems like it's Old English. So we would have to look up the word infans, which takes us to the Latin part of it. Okay, infant, a child, coming from BHA. So this is where I teach the teachers that a lot of the words in Latin were actually stolen from Sanskrit, which was taken from Coptic, which was taken from the
Yeah.
early
Yeah.
Africans on the continent before we spread out over the world. So here we have BHA, to speak, tell, or say. So that's interesting how we go from a child, an infant, okay, sometimes meaning a fetus from Latin infantum, young child, babe in arms, not able to speak. Look at that. That's linked to the BHA, to speak, to tell, to say. So infan is not able to speak, to tell, or say because of that in, right? Am I on the right track?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. It
Incompetent.
looks like it's not showing what I'm trying to demonstrate. Like a commercial or something is there. I'm sorry about this.
Mm.
Okay, okay, let me. Okay, I'm sorry. It looks like every time I try to share a new window, I have to stop sharing so that I can show you what I want you to see. All right, so let's try this again. Uh, Sorry about this. Okay, I want to share the window and okay, so what I was trying to share here
Mm-hmm.
is this website here. Okay. Okay.
See that?
So the question was, how else can we see child? Okay, thank you all. I'm just seeing in the chat. Sorry about that, everyone. So the word infant, child actually is Old English. So let me go back and put child in. Okay. Okay, so we have child. That's Old English. So it linked back to the Latin form of infans and the French coming from infant. Okay. So I would have to now look up infant to get at the true meaning. And I'm a little ahead of myself, but it's all going to make sense a little bit later because I'm going to show you Brother Bay actually teaching us. So here, infant actually links to the PIE, which is the Proto-Indo-European root to BHA,
Mm-hmm.
which means to speak, tell, or say. So the IN in front of that probably means not to speak, tell, or say. So an infant is not able to speak. So that's where we are getting these terms from, but Old English steps in and also adds language. So when we think about the English language, there's layers there. So there's that Anglo-Saxon layer, which is the Old English part that we're using. And this one right here, the common Germanic word. So we're pulling from that Germanic root there. So I don't know if I could answer that question. I would have to do a little bit more study to see if we.
You're doing a good job. You know,
Okay.
you're doing a good job of showing the methodology.
Okay. So that's what I'm trying to get at there.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Now, let me see if my screen is still sharing if I minimize that and see if I can go back to my slides. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the slides now and this is where I'm going to get into what Brother Bay has been teaching me for these last few years here. So let's come here and go back to my slides. All right. Any questions so far? Let's see here.
Type your questions in. Type your questions in. This is really good. I'm enjoying this.
Okay, I don't want to be boring. I don't want to sound like a professor here.
No, you're not. Well, you know, you're going to have to do that, you know, and mix it up. You know, you're mixing it up. You're doing a good job.
Okay.
But we do need that professorship, you know. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. All right. So let me see here. I'm sharing my screen here and let's make sure that you all can see it. Okay. All right.
Our people need real learning. And this is it. I'm serious.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Same here. I mean, that's why I was so happy that you were willing to tutor me in this process. Okay. And let's see if it's showing here. Okay, for some reason it's
not, you don't hear it. Not letting you share.
Yeah, I did hit the share and okay.
He's trying to share the video.
Yeah, I wanted to share the video of you teaching. So let me just Okay. Slides and PDFs. Okay. 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 I guess what I should have done is I should have uploaded my slides to this StreamYard. I'm just learning how to stream live, so
Mhm.
sorry about that. All right. So
No,
let me just
I
pull up
don't
the
know,
video
so I
here.
couldn't. I wouldn't even should help you with that. I didn't.
Oh my gosh. And I don't want people to feel like I'm wasting their time, so let me just get up to the point. I'm trying to show the first video of you teaching, and then I want to show your book because
Mhm,
I told the teachers to buy the book.
mhm.
And I don't know if you can
You can
see
see that.
it there.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes. So I made this required reading. And the audience, please support Brother Abdullah. Please buy his book. It is fantastic. Fantastic. And I am not getting any affiliated uh perks from that.
And a kickback.
No kickbacks, I promise.
The website's been rolling across the screen for the past 56 minutes. Moors
Okay.
and Main Street. Yeah, they can see the website, moorsandmainstreet.org.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend purchasing that book. Okay, so now let me see if I can put the video here. So
Mm-hmm.
let me put the video up.
You're doing a wonderful job. Wonderful.
Okay. Because I'm just, let's see, select a tab to share. Okay, so now what I did was I'm not showing the whole thing because
Mhm.
these lectures, I believe, go from 1 hour to 2 hours. And
Yeah,
so,
mine is, yes.
so
I
what
think it
I'm
was my
going to,
pass-up class.
yes.
Yeah, 2 hours.
So what
Mhm.
I'm going to show is 11 minutes. So this is one of the videos that I shared with the teachers, and um, they loved it. They were in awe. So this video is called
I get that
Etymology.
a lot.
All right. So let's see. Are you able to see on your side here? Because I just told it to
Not,
share this.
not yet.
Okay. Oh God. Um,
I try again.
okay, let me try again because it asks me what tab. Okay, so let me uh, tell it the tab. Okay, share screen. I want to. Okay, and I selected that tab. Okay, now share. Let's see. Did it pop
All
up
right.
here?
Yes, it's there.
Okay, so can you see the video?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to hit the play button and you'll see why I was amazed. And by the way, that telephone number still works. And this video was done in maybe 17 or 16, and that telephone number works. That's
Oh
how I was
yes.
able to contact
Yes.
Brother
Yep.
Bay. All right, so let's see here. Let me put this on.
Don't hear anything.
Oh, that's you
True
thinking.
meaning and
All
meaning.
right.
Can you hear it now?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, okay.
True meaning and meaning. Now we've all heard meaning. This word means this. What is the meaning of this word? What is the meaning of color? What is the meaning of uh, uh, of nice? What is the meaning of chair? What is the, I'm going to a dictionary to look up the meaning of this word or that word and so forth. But we never heard, we don't hear this in school and at the workplace, at restaurants. You never hear people say, what is the true meaning of the word nice? What's the true meaning of the word slave? What is the true meaning of the word color? You know, I'm going to go to the dictionary to look up the true meaning of this word. You know, you never hear true meaning. What is true meaning? What's the difference between true meaning and meaning. What's the difference? Wouldn't they be the same? What's this true meaning about? Aren't all meanings true meanings? What are you talking about, Abdullah, Brother Bay? What's the difference? All right. We have etymology. That's from the Greek. It's from the Greek, meaning, all right, the true is this here means true, real, origin, all right, word, theory, all right, study of, all right, real, true, real meaning, true, real, origin, and history. So etymology is the history, origin, true meaning, or words. All right, so we have here, so we have over here semantics. This is the study of meaning. The study of this. This deals with the study of meaning of words. This is the study of the history, origin, and true meaning of words. That's the difference. This is the study of the history, origin, and true meaning of words. Semantics is the study of meaning. So you have two different fields, and they have two different objectives. Objectives are not the same. So for this, let's look at slave. So let's look at what's the difference between etymology and semantics? That will deal with methodology. The difference is in the methodology. The methodology is different. The methodology for an etymologist and looking at the word slave, well, tracing the word back to its oldest known historical meaning, its true meaning, and looking at how that word been transliterated in other languages, or the other cognates to that word, you know, what is the form of the word in the various languages, whereas semanticists will look at how various meanings came about, what were given to this word, slave. So we have the word slave here. The semanticist is not so much concerned with the history and origin and true meaning of the word. More concerned with how the word slave, in this case slave, acquired its various meanings. how the word slave acquired its various meanings. A etymologist is not concerned with how a word acquired its various meanings. A semanticist wants to know what is the oldest historically known meaning, what is the true meaning of the word. What is this true meaning of the word, not its various meanings, over the period of time here. So let's say semanticist's approach would be, we want to look at the word slave over the period of 500 years. So let's say 500 years time period. And we want to study the when particular meanings came about for the word slave, or for any word. When, at what time period, so let me see the dictionary, Rob. I was explaining the difference.
It's on the page.
Well, it doesn't matter what word it is. It doesn't have to, it's dealing with the, all right, so we're looking at the entry-level meanings. We have your entry-level meanings. Your entry-level meanings would be, all right, they're numbered, 1, 2, it could have 5, entry could be 7, 15, 20, all right? Then it's close to, there may be other entries that a group of lexicographers, those who put together dictionaries, did not put in there, because they don't put all the entries in, depending on what dictionary you're looking at. If they had the funding to do that, you may have Oxford, got Webster's, got Funkin Wagno. All right, so you have these various dictionaries, and you have various people, these various groups have different funding. That's also a factor. So the entry may have 3 to maybe 5 to 10. So a semanticist would look at these various entries. So, well, when did these various entries come about? Was it this meaning came about 200 years ago, or this one came 500 or 400 years ago, and this meaning came about, and back in 1600 it meant this. Back in 1800 it meant this. Back in, all right. Where semanticist and etymologist approach is, what is its earliest known meaning? What is its earliest? Its earliest, its oldest, its historical, true meaning. So these are different methodologies, there's different goals and objectives, different approaches, different focus. I implore that you study both. I study both, and I've been studying both for years. And I've been studying it because this was introduced to me by Professor Burton, semantics, because he would look at the semantical classification of various verbs or prepositions, and not so. You often hear people say, you're speaking in semantics. What that means, you're speaking semantics, they haven't studied semantics. You're speaking semantics. You'll hear people say that, but yet they haven't studied it in depth or studied it all. They probably heard people say that. All right, so the difference in approaches with etymology and semantics, the study of the meaning of words, the study of the history, origin, and true meaning of words. Any questions, Amanda?
Okay.
Man, that was good. I need that clipping. That was that. I'm sitting there like, that's yes.
Now you see why the teachers were awed.
Yeah, I
They
can see
were in
why. Yeah,
awe.
because of the they can. I gave it clarity on the different approaches.
Yes. Yes. And one of the things that I wanted you to help me clarify tonight is
Mhm.
for legal purposes, would it behoove us to know the true meaning of the word over the semantic meaning?
All right. You know me. I like to give sources. You know.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
There is an article, "The Original Meaning of the Commerce Clause" by Randy Barnett. Randy Barnett is a constitutional lawyer and also a professor at Georgetown University. He wrote the article "Original Meaning of the Commerce Clause." I came across that in 2014 or 15. And that's where I learned about the originalists and constructionalists.
Okay.
That's why I got those two terms, originalists and constructionists. Those originalists and constructionists, those are two, what they call methodology of constitutional interpretation, originalists and constructionists. And the word is commerce. And they showed that the word commerce or the word agriculture had nothing to do with commerce. So that you saw this word commerce was actually played like a political football game. They used the Johnson Dictionary, Johnson Dictionary back in the 1700s.
Okay.
To look up this was used in the Supreme Court. The dictionaries are used. Okay. So I gotta give this so that you can. I'm answering your question this way, so they can, because I have to point to actual etymology is being used. Okay. So they actually used the etymology using Johnson's dictionary back in the 1700s to show that the etymology of the word commerce has nothing to do, or agriculture is not a element of commerce. So what they were trying to do was tax farmers, tax fruits and vegetables, tax grain, and classify grains and fruits and vegetables as commerce.
Okay.
That was the issue there. Yes.
So that makes sense, because I was a teacher was asking me, why would I even need to bother with etymology?
That's a good question. Good question.
Yeah, and having them know the history. And why would I carve out time? Because we are under time constraints in the classroom. Mm-hmm. We have to get a certain amount of concepts taught within, a certain number of lessons in order to maintain the pacing and to get the kids ready for the test, if you will. And so teachers find time, to be a valuable resource. And so they're like, okay, I don't want to waste time. So we have some questions here. King El Bay asks, what book or books should one start with to learn? So what can we recommend?
Etymology Vocabulary by Abdullah El-Talemosi Bey.
Yes.
Etymology Vocabulary by Abdullah El-Talemosi Bey. Go to mooresandmasonry.org. You say, what book I'm going to give them? You say start with. The book to get the start. The question is to start with. Well, my book.
Yes. Start there, and then
then you're going to tell us why, because you have your slides. You have slides to actually show. Sister Anitra has the slides, a few slides from my book that will actually show you what I mean.
Yes.
And why I'm saying my book.
And then we have another question here. Greeting. If the manipulation of words is harmful to our children in the school system, how harmful is the same to our children and people on any given Sunday?
How harmful is the saying
No, is
to
the
our
same
people? But
is SAME as the same. So if the manipulation of words is harmful to our children in the school system, that's just one setting. But what about the
mhm.
manipulation on any given Sunday?
Oh, I
We're
got you. I understand. I
manipulating.
understand. All right.
Yes.
You answered. Actually, you did a great job in dealing with that question
Okay.
when you talked about the colonizers. You know, go back to that. Go back to that discussion where you talked about the colonizers, how we're being still being controlled. When you talked about the Philip K. Dick's
Okay.
quote, and you did a great job in explaining that part about the colonizers controlling us through the manipulation of words.
Okay.
So that's every day. All right. So the word color. Let me just give the word color. All right. We have there's three terms here: people of color,
Yes.
colored people, and colored.
Mm.
All right. Let's go to the 50s. Let's go to the 50s. White only, color only. White only. This is signs for bathrooms. White only, color only. On the bus, white only, color only. Fountains, white only, color only. So we're showing the social engineering.
Yes.
All right. So
And I'm going to see
now
if I
what
can
does
pull
what
that up
so
because you and I worked on that.
mhm, mhm.
Okay. Let me see here.
So the etymology of the word color means to hide or conceal. The legal meaning: conceal, fake, artificial, simulacrum, a semblance, distinguished from that which is real, fiat, counterfeit, deceptive, misleading, have nothing to do with complexion, skin tone, shade, or hue. This is major. This is major. And of course, there's other words, but this is a major word that because our people still use that. In fact, it's in EEOC and EEOC.
Mhm.
All right. Then with civil rights, you see the word color and race used interchangeably in the same sentence. That whole EEOC, color and race. Don't discriminate based on race, color, sex, religion.
Mhm.
All right. Now,
Mhm.
the word color, that's a good question. So let me just give me a couple minutes here.
Yeah,
So
down because I'm trying to share my screen
yeah, share your screen while you like
where we broke it
now.
down, but I don't know. StreamYard is
The
not
word
letting.
color is not associated with Europeans, right?
Right.
They don't use the word color for Europeans. Like they'll say like when Europeans read the EEOC, or they'll read anything that has or don't we won't discriminate with you're not we protect against discrimination of a race, color. Like Europeans don't associate that word with them. Like they'll read it. Like Europeans will read an application. You're protected, all right, and you won't be discriminated based on your race, your color, your sex, your religion, your national origin. But Europeans don't associate that word color with them like that. Like color. Like you don't. don't associate that word, like the general public does not use that word for Europeans.
Right.
See?
Yes.
What have the general public been taught about that word? That it relates to us because we have, they don't have color. We have color. They don't have, Donald Trump doesn't have color. Abdullah Bey has color. So therefore Abdullah is a person of color. See when the word color is etymology and legal meaning has nothing to do with complexion, skin tone, pigmentation, hue, or shade.
Right.
This is major.
Yeah, it's major. Let me see if I can share my screen this way, because what you just broke down, you and I did that together, and
Yes,
I
we
wanted
did.
the audience to see that. But for some reason, I'm having a difficult time being able to share.
I know we used a plant. We used an artificial plant and a live plant as an example.
Yes.
To show, to teach the word that the word color belongs. The word color applies to an artificial plant that's made in a factory. Nationality applies to a real plant that's rooted in soil.
Yes. Okay, so let me see if I can.
When it comes to word color, has nothing to do with real. Has nothing to do with real at all. It's fake, artificial, counterfeit, misleading, deceptive. Semblance, appearance. Distinguished from that which is real.
Yeah, because we have here the etymology of the word, then we have the legal meaning of the word. So we pulled it from the law dictionary. Then we have legal terms having the word color, like color of law, color of office, color of authority.
Yes. This is the chart. Yep, this is the chart.
Yes.
That
okay, finally got it. All right. So this is how we work through that use of the word color. And so you were showing me how I could use a chart like this with the teachers.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me see if I can.
So let's share that too. Yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
I was just making it a little bit bigger so that people could see what we had going on here.
Yes.
So we have the etymology, and we just use the word color, but we could substitute color with any other word. Okay, then we had the legal meaning, and we use Black's Law Dictionary. And this is what I was showing the teachers, that if you're calling yourself a person of color, by law, you're saying you are invisible. And so here is that word semblance that we saw earlier tonight.
Yep.
Or what? Simulacrum. Simulacrum, as distinguished from that which is real. So you're basically telling a court you're not real. Let's see. Hence, a deceptive appearance, a plausible assumed exterior, concealing a lack of reality.
Concealing a
lack of reality. A disguise or pretext. Okay, and then here we have the origin or source of the modern connotation. There's the key word there, because this is where the social engineering happens.
Yep.
So the fathers of the modern race paradigm. Okay, what is that? Francis Bernier, Carl Linnaeus, and Johann Frederick Blumenbach. Johann Frederick Blumenbach. So these are what we call the old masters in education that have set the connotation for the word color. So now this is the constructed meaning that we're using for it. So the settlers love it when you say I'm a person of color, right? BIOPC, right? And then classification developed by the fathers of the race paradigm. So here we have the association of color being connected with skin tone. And then race and color used interchangeably by way of the race paradigm. So you have the civil rights movement. So now we're all saying, we're people of color. And then we have policies that talk about this color, but are they legit? All right. Then we have racial
No,
classification.
they're not legit because all right, they're not. That's so continue. You'll continue. You'll show.
Oh,
You'll show
okay.
that they're
Yeah.
not legit. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Then we have the racial classification as used in the United States. So the race and ethics standards for federal and statistical reporting, the Office of Management and Budget, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, Pacific. So these are what the census uses, right? So how come other people are Hispanic or Asian or Native American, but we have the settlers calling themselves white, and then we are the foundational blacks, right? But why are we black, right? Why aren't we in this category, right? This is a way to keep us down. And these people in this category are the Euro Asians that came over much, much later. We were already here, but yet they confuse us and put us in this category.
Yep.
All right. Then we have the nationalities being placed under the race question. So here we have different years where they updated the census to maintain that use of color so that we can maintain the illegitimacy of ourselves. And then the relationship between nationalities and names of nations. So here we have China being Chinese, France being French, Nigeria, Nigerian, but where's black, right? Or where's white? So our nation, we can't become a nation, right? If we are calling ourselves people of color.
We cannot make claims to that which we have right to claim by blood. We cannot. You have to, in order to make the claim, you make the claim in your name, in the name of our ancestors. So the push in teaching our people the truth about who we are as a people, our ancestry, our pedigree, our nationality, national origin, descent, and organizing, because we would be in fact protesting.
Yes.
We would be protesting against European colonization,
Yes.
meaning that our people and that negative status of black, Negro, color, they're not protesting. They can march all they want. They can march. That's not protesting. This is very clear. They can march every single day.
Yes.
Our people can march every single day. Our people go to Washington, D.C. every single day. They would not be protesting. The protest comes with your consciousness and being clear that to know that we are Moors. You can only it can only be considered a protest with the knowledge and that be known that you are Moor. You saying black people, that you can't, that's not protesting, because they don't exist.
Yes.
Black people got rights. Black people, you heard black people, they're not protesting because they don't exist.
Yes. So it's
Politically,
it's a waste.
Yes, they exist biologically. Yes, there are people outside. Yes, there will be people outside the White House. Yes, they will be outside of the White House. But politically, they don't exist. So therefore, they cannot protest against colonization.
Mm-hmm.
You protest against colonization with a knowledge of your nationality and protest in that name.
Yes.
More.
So that takes us to the section on number 10, nationality, a subject of human rights. So color isn't a subject of human rights. It's the nationality that's the
right. Exactly. It's how they playing us.
Yeah, they're playing us. So down here under 11, 12, and 13, we have nationality. And is that consanguinity? Blood tie connection.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if I said that right. And then nationality and constitutional and treaty protection.
Consanguinity.
Consanguinity. Okay, so
Mhm.
nationality and consanguinity, which is your blood tie connection. So we are tied to this land through our ancestral blood. Okay, then nationality and constitutional and treaty protection. And then we have the de-emphasizing of nationality by substituting nationality with, and I think we put race. So they are actually taking away our nationality with race.
Which is a human rights violation. Now keep in mind. So you asked if it's legit. That's a human rights violation, all right? Because they're doing it. Yes, they're doing it. Yes, they're doing it. It's a human rights violation. We bring that point up.
Okay.
All right. This is why we have to have the knowledge of who we are and operate and organize our people. All right, that loose stuff is not going to work. All right. This hear me out, conscious Moors. Hear me out. Conscious Moors and unconscious Moors. And the sound of my voice, please hear me. That loosey-goosey stuff is not going to work. That loosey-goosey stuff. You have, in teaching our people,
yes,
they must be taught an organized structure and to being taught to work in government structure. If you are teaching the people to work as individuals, you're not teaching the people. The people must be taught an organized structure and to work in government structure to be effective. If you're teaching the people, I don't care who you are, if you're teaching the people to work as and to operate, do things as individuals, you are teaching them not to be effective. They will never be effective. We must teach the people to operate. You teach them in structure. You teach them to work in government structure. National principles. Let me explain. Let me explain. The people, the word people. The people of Nigeria. My man Al-Kanan. The people of Nigeria drafted in the Nigerian National Constitution. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked. The word people it'll be used in a political sense because it's drafted in the Nigerian Constitution. It's the repository of the collective sovereignty of the people of Nigeria vested in the Nigerian Constitution. Nigeria is the national name. Nigerian is the nationality of the people. The Nigerian Constitution protects all Nigerians worldwide. Worldwide, no matter where the Nigerians are, it protects Nigerians worldwide. Through their what? You have domestically, it'll be the national constitution. And if you have domestically, it will be their domestic representatives, the domestic representatives. All right. Then you have your foreign agents, your foreign representatives, your ambassadors, your consul generals, your consuls, your vice consuls, your charge d'affaires. All right. So that Nigerians, so that's national principles. We must teach the Moors, conscious and unconscious. You teach them in structure, organized, and to operate in political structure. That's the only way it can be effective.
And then here we have United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Everyone has the right to a nationality. So they're breaking that right every day. And then we have the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of the Child. And then every child has a right to a name and nationality. So our children are not getting this. Okay, then we have genealogy of ancestry, national origin, descent, parentage, pedigree, lineage. All that is under the nationality, the blood tie, if you will, and consanguinity. I hope I'm saying that right.
Consanguinity.
Oh, sorry, consanguinity. Okay, so that I is saying
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then nationality and diplomatic protection. We have the right to that, and nationality and consular protection. And so we also, like the Nigerian, they're being converted to Black. So when they come here, now they're being converted to a color to, I guess, negate their constitution, if you will.
Who's that? Who's that? Say it again. Who's being?
Okay. So it says Nigerian becomes Black, and then we have Chinese becomes yellow.
No. That doesn't happen to them. I know.
It does not.
All right, let me explain.
Okay.
Let me explain. I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
All right, now you may have Nigerians who would play us.
Okay.
Because they're not Abdullah Bey. You know what I mean? They're not going to do me. They're not going to do an Abdullah Bey. They're not going to put up with our people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So they're not going to do an Abdullah Bey. They're not going to go back and forth. You know what I mean? They're not going to do that. You know what I mean? They're going to chime in. Hey, Black people. You know, the Nigerians or the Senegalese or South Africans, all right, they're going to chime in. Hey, Black people. Yeah, we Black people. You know what I mean? Yeah, we Black people. You know, they're not going to, and so, all right. So if one of our people calls a Nigerian Black, Nigerian's not going to correct them. Or call a Kenyan Black, the king is not going to correct them. The Kenyan may, chime in, yeah, we Black people. Because they're not going to do an Abdullah Bey.
Okay.
All right, I'm not Black. And then our people want to fight them. And people want to fight them. Yeah, what do you mean you're not Black? Yes, you are. What do you mean? Yes, you are. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you. Like the students done to me. Yeah. So Nigerians are not, Kenyans are not, I don't blame them.
Yeah. I get it
now. I gotta do it. I gotta take the beating. Yes. I gotta take the beating for my people.
Because they have a constitution.
Right. So I gotta take the beating. I've taken the beating from thousands of people. I got it, and I'll continue to take the beating from them. But they ain't gonna do that. They're not gonna take the beating. Yeah, what do you mean? You're not Black. What do you mean you're not Black? They're not gonna do that. But I'm gonna continue to do that.
Okay.
I'll continue to take the beating. I got to.
Yes. That all makes sense.
I'm just keeping it real.
Yes. Yes, we got a comment in the chat. It's definitely lack of knowledge. That is so true. So we have a question here. How can we educate our children in a way that doesn't cause conflict with the uninformed educator they may encounter?
All right. You want me to answer that? You want to take that?
Yeah. You take it because I'm thinking.
All right. It's called Moorish Monday with Abdullah Bey. Different platforms like this. That's what I said. Platforms like this. And Moors and Masonry, part 1. Moors and Masonry, part 2. How Vians Mamu. Yeah, right. It's called study groups, outreach. It's called the Human Rights Nationality for Our Children National Campaign. It's teaching. Just giving examples. Examples of things that we're doing. It's called the Moorish Moroccan Post School of Government International Law School. Okay. All right. It's called the Moorish Investigative Research Committee. Classes, class structure lessons, outreach, structure network. All right. Structure teaching. All right. That's yes.
Yes. And I would kind of say the same because it's kind of like what the Jews do. The Asians, they have after school, Saturday school. They're using outside resources because the school
structure. It's the structure. It's done through structure format. That's why I say that loosey-goosey work. That's not effective, though. We gotta do things that's going to be effective.
Yes, and that's where you were talking about the organizing, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm big on that.
Yes.
I've been doing it for almost 40 years. Going back to college.
Okay. All right. Now, the other piece that I wanted to show was that dictionary video that you made.
All right.
Teachers absolutely.
Man, I love these videos, man. Oh, shucks.
This is another short one. Again, I took it from a 2-hour lecture.
They're 2 hours because the class is 2 hours long. Absolutely.
So this is just 10 minutes. And I just love the interpreter because you are teaching and she is hearing it like, oh my God.
Yeah, she's one of the students. Was hearing, what's it called? Hearing impaired.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, she was. Yep.
All right, let's check this one out. Okay.
Dominant culture, for example. To Sanskrit. This is what the Europeans do. All right? They'll take the word kuda.
She
Right?
can't do
Sanskrit.
that.
Right? Persian. Huta. Gothic. G-U-D-D, G-U-T-T, modern English. God. Right? They'll take the word, this ancient word form, and they'll transliterate it to a modern form. So now this becomes this modern form. So now the morphology form, the phonology sound has shifted. They've changed the frequency, all right, of the word, changed the morphology, the form of the word, all right, and I've got you saying this form. They dominate this. They dominate with this. Once again, I'm coming from a linguistical perspective.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right, that's how I define this. That coming from a linguistical perspective. You come from an economic perspective. I'm coming from a linguistic perspective because this is psychological. This is, trust me, this is huge.
To every.
This is huge.
I agree with you on that.
This is huge.
I agree with you.
I agree.
I mean, I don't even think anything's huge. This is big.
Because it wouldn't even be nothing else if it wasn't for the belief of that whatever you have.
Right. So they took you from this. Now this comes from this word because it's called as a transliteration.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't create the words. They transliterate. It's not called create. The linguistic word you use is transliteration. That's the linguistic word. When you're
They committed plagiarism.
all right, when you do this.
Plagiarism.
So let's just be very specific what I'm talking about. Latin form, English. So when I mean transliteration, right? Father. All right. All right. So the P in Latin transliterates the F. So that's not a creation. That's called transliteration. You understanding morphology and phonology. All right. So they're not just arbitrarily doing it. They're using a knowledge base of morphology and phonology. They're using a principle in which to maintain. It's like to hide its origin, but it's also a way in which to get back to it. All right, they reserved the way to get back to it. So it can't be some arbitrarity. They just coming in and just start whipping up things and all right. Yeah, they didn't do it. It's not like that.
Well, that's one reason because
Did not do that?
no, we went off on the fan.
Long time before, a couple weeks.
One time.
Yeah. All right, hide. Hide, conceal. All right, that's just the etymology. All right, so we have the legal terms and words. Color, of law, color of law, color of office, color of authority, colored people. Now, because of deception, our people think that color refers to what?
Skin color,
Skin,
most of them.
tone, yeah, complexion. So let's go with what people think. Complexion, pigmentation. All right. All right. So this is what the people think. Let's go first. See, this what I learned to do. And this is what I think makes me effective too. Is I get where the people are. This is where the people are. This is where the people are. All right. So this is connotation. So all right. So acknowledge this. Acknowledge this meaning as connotation. All right. People think that it's color, skin tone, skin color, skin complexion, pigmentation. All right. Colored people. All right. Is that? But that's many of the people. Colored people. You know, there's association. It's called the the NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Which I think is still racist.
All right. No, I'm talking about the name.
That's racist. I think
No,
that's
I'm not. I hear you.
Oh.
I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about the organization and the policies of the organization. I'm talking about the name itself. National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. The term colored people. All right? Colored people. I'm not even talking about the policy. You know, colored people. All right? Many of our people will align themselves with this because they think it speaks to them. I belong to the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. I'm a colored person. This is where the people are. Yeah, let's still focus on where the people are.
That's nice.
I'm a colored person. See?
That's
all right.
Nice. That's nice.
And they really think that means that. They don't know, one, the etymology of the word means hide and conceal. Give me the legal meaning.
Pretty much the same thing.
Give me the legal
There you
meaning.
go. Color, semblance, disguise. Color is often used to designate the hiding of a set of facts behind a sham, taking advantage of the confidence but technically proper legal theory or legal right.
I've never
Like
looked at that
disguise.
from color in a day in my life.
You wouldn't know to look, you know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know, right? Because
you thought you knew what it meant.
right, you thought you knew what it meant. You know, tone,
I
skin
know what
tone.
that means, so I ain't gonna look it up.
Right. You wouldn't think to look it up. I mean,
Because some people don't like pictures.
That's true.
no.
Just threw that out there.
all right. No, I mean, let me. No. All right. Let me. All right. Let me start because you just. And since you threw it out, I have to.
Yes.
Just muddy the water.
All right.
I wouldn't muddy him.
It's not that our people don't like dictionaries, so we gotta. No. What? So I need to down since you threw it out, so I have to clarify it. It's not that our people don't like dictionaries. So that's all right. Let's say that people do like dictionaries, but don't know how to read. See, the issue is not liking dictionaries. The issue is that they don't know how to read dictionaries properly. That's the issue. All right? John knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so therefore they don't like it.
Yeah, but we want to be more. We want to be scholarly. It will be scholarly in our explanation. That's all. That's going to get to a more scholarly explanation of it. You know, because this is, etymology class. So this is you have here your etymological brackets. So since this is etymological class, we're going to deal with scholarship. And we have your entry-level meanings. This is we've been conditioned to only focus on the entry-level meanings. So this is not a matter of like or dislike. This is what they know. So if they were to go to a dictionary, if you gave them a dictionary and they open it, what they gonna look at? Right. So the issue is that they don't know how to properly read a dictionary. All right?
Can I read the term colorable?
Yes, please. Colorable. All right, here.
Is it the suffix?
Colorable. That's what you're supposed to be dealing with.
Colorable. That which presents an appearance which does not correspond with the reality.
Read that again, please.
That which presents an appearance which does not correspond with the reality, or an appearance intended to conceal or to deceive.
See, the etymology is still and given the etymology too.
Yeah.
The legal meaning is right in harmony with the etymology. To conceal. Non-disclosure. There's no full disclosure.
Okay.
Man, I like that one. I like both of them. I like both. Oh, man, you gotta send those, gotta send those clippings to me. Oh, wow, you did a great job with that.
Yes.
Pull
So
it
the
out.
teachers were like, oh my God. So it was a whole new world for them looking at those videos. It's very powerful information. So we have a question here. Are there any good exercises for toddlers between the ages of 3 to 5 for teaching critical thinking? And then any good exercises for 3 to 5-year-olds to increase patience? And what I wanted to do was
Yeah, that would be,
pull up
yeah.
your number line that you use for the little ones to kind of teach prefix, suffix, the animal, how you
Mhm.
said you have the head,
Yes, yeah,
the
yes.
body, and
All
then the
right.
tail. Yes, yes. So while I pull that up, you can kind of explain the little
All right.
exercise for us. So,
Yes. Yes. I'll explain where I got that from.
okay.
I was in 2000. My daughter was 1 year old at the time. I had one of my etymology students at Temple University Pan African Studies Community Education Program, PASEP. This was in the fall of 2007. She would bring her granddaughters to class. They were 7 years old. Maya and Trinity. They were 7 years old at the time. Of course, they're in their 20s. They were 7 years old. And so she solicited me to tutor them. So I would do that once a week. And so I started with them with the number line. And they weren't getting it, And so I went into my lab, during the course of the week, because I had to go back the next week to tutor them. And I said, man. And I thought about, an animal. Let's use an animal, be more concrete. The number line is abstract. The animal, concrete. So I had at the time I was still with my daughter's mother, and I had her draw a picture. She was an art teacher. Draw a picture of an elephant for me. So I used the elephant. I used that picture, and that worked. So the body would be the root word, the head, prefix, the tail, suffix. So head. So body and tail. So I wouldn't start off with prefix, root word, suffix. I would give them head, body, tail. Head, body, tail. All right. And once they got the concept of head, body, tail, then you have to, you can't keep them there now. Right. You have to give them now you say, now you put head, you have the word prefix above the word head.
Okay.
All right. And then tail. So suffix, then body, root word. That's how I did it.
Okay. And I am trying to pull up the book now so that way we can see the number line here.
Yes.
And I'm keeping my eye out on the time too, because I know we have a hard stop. So let me see here.
No, I think we don't have a hard stop. We good. But I
Okay.
think you almost done though.
Yeah, I'm
You got a
wrapping
few
up.
more. Yeah,
I'm
you
wrapping
wrapping
up.
up.
This
You
is
wrapping
pretty
up
much
because you have a
the
few
end.
more slides. Yeah, you don't have. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm just trying to show the book here, but for some reason,
Here it comes.
oh, is it loading? Okay.
Yeah, it's the book. There's the front. That's the book cover.
Okay. Yes,
Mhm.
that's the front. All right. So let me just show the number line here, which
Mhm.
I first of all, I just want to let me see if I can zoom in here.
Yeah.
Show the power of this book. Guys, prefix rules, suffix rules, like the teachers were blown because first of all, they didn't learn this
Of course
in
not.
their public school education.
Of course not.
They didn't learn it while they were learning to be teachers. And then when they enter into my reading class, now they're learning it and they're like, oh my God. And I think back to my own teacher training. I did not learn this explicitly. And I'm a so called reading specialist, if you will, quote unquote. So let me just zoom down to these prefix rules here because this is powerful stuff here. So let me see. I don't want to hurt people's eyes. Close your eyes for a moment.
Mhm.
And let me get down here. This is jammed packed, right? Remember in one of the lectures I was showing you the etymology or the true meaning. So the example here is dollar. So that is broken down here. But then
Mhm.
to these rules here, this is what I wanted to show.
Mhm.
This thing right here, I was telling Brother Abdullah that my students just weren't getting it. Like, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? And he said, did you use a number line? I'm like, oh, no, I didn't. The minute I introduced this to the teachers, they were blown. So we would put the root at the 0. So that would be your neutral. That's where we're starting. And then your suffixes would go into the positive direction and your prefixes would kind of go into the negative direction. And so here we have the example of stable, right? Stabilize, stabilization. So the teachers can see the maximum number of suffixes that can be added on a word and the maximum number of prefixes that can be added on a word. And there you can actually strengthen the student's vocabulary with that, right? So we have the rules, right? A prefix is placed at the beginning. A word can have as many as 2, right? So the teachers are like, oh, I never stopped to think that a word can have up to 2 prefixes. They think prefixes being just 1. Like, no, you can actually have up to 2. And what's interesting is that uh, it's defined here that when a word has 2, one of the prefixes is usually a negation. So they're like, what? So I know that this book is copyright protected, so I'm not going to share everything, but I just wanted you to see the power of what's happening in this text. So I actually went back and did more word work with the teachers, and we actually spent more than one session because I'm supposed to only talk about vocabulary in one session. So each night we have about a 2-hour class. But as you can see, when you're talking about the etymology of a word, we have to do it in more than one session because the teachers were just blown with the rules associated with the prefixes. Okay, so as far as getting back to activities with 3 and 5-year-olds and working on their patience, it's really kind of giving them a hands-on activity. So I would recommend actually making this number line and then having them to use the index cards because Brother Bay actually has in one of his videos index cards and
Mhm.
he flashes them to the audience. So I would put the roots on an index card. I would put the syllables on index cards and the prefixes on index cards and then train the child to build words. So that will build critical thinking, like my saying, and it will also build have to kind of build these words out. The example that I use with the teachers, they train me, is that we should color code these word parts. So the prefix would be pink, P prefix. The root would be lilac, because we're working with Latin roots. So we say lilac Latin. But if we're working with Greek, then we would use green, right? If we're working with Anglo-Saxon, then we would use amber, which is like a light orange kind of color. So that was a visual piece, because I was learning how to work with students who are dyslexic. So the color actually served as kind of like a scaffold for them. And then the blue would be the suffix, but we couldn't come up with a color for S. So we said, okay, we'll say sapphire blue.
Mhm.
So we would color code these word parts. So this would be pink. This, in this case, because we're working with the Latin aspect of the language, would be
Mhm.
lilac or light purple. And then these would be blue. And so I would get index cards in those colors, and they do have them, because I actually did it with my students. And I'm telling you, their vocabulary went out of the roof. And I'm talking, I'm as a reading specialist, and then I had a special education endorsement on my license. They overused me because I could satisfy their reading hours as well as their special education hours. So they were, in a sense, double dipping. And so I was given children that were like struggling readers. And of course, the teachers, they were like, go to Miss Butler, let her teach them, because they didn't really know how to teach them. And what did I do? I taught vocabulary. What's in that IEP a lot of times is fluff. What is needed is vocabulary. And I'm telling you, these kids blew the assessment out of the water. The teachers were like, what are you doing? I had teachers spying. They were like, what is she doing? I had a teacher eat her lunch in the class to listen what I was saying to the children. So it's amazing how, we kind of think that white teachers are, great teachers, but really they aren't. They really don't know how to teach effectively. So moving into a school district that's zoned for white children, it's not going to guarantee that your kid's going to get what he or she needs. It's our teachers, our Moors, our teachers of African descent that we really have to work with and focus on. But unfortunately, we don't have enough of them. They don't want to go into teaching, right? Because, of all of the stigma that goes along with the job. But if we teach vocabulary and teach it well, our kids would do amazingly well. All right. Let's see here. We got a comment.
We gotta bring you back at the end of the semester, because I know
Oh.
I know you don't have time to do another one during the course, because you said you're working on your PhD. So summertime, gotta bring you back
Yes.
and at
Yes.
the end of your semester. Yeah, because I know once you have time to, yeah. So we'll bring you back in about what, 5 months.
Okay, yeah, because this is my love, and at that point, I'm going to share more of the resources that you shared with me.
Hmm.
And then also your classes. I bought his classes, guys. I'm telling
Hmm.
you, please support Brother Abdullah. He has classes, grammar, reading comprehension, etymology, you name it. He has the classes. There's really no excuse with technology. We can download these classes and teach ourselves. People are worried about Project 2025 and the new administration coming in. We don't have to worry, because if they tear it up, that will be actually good for us, because then we can create new systems to educate ourselves, educate our people. So let them tear it down, so that will give us the initiative to create our own systems. And guess what they're going to do? Then they're going to be like, oh, we need these public institutions back because they're excelling over here. And that's really what happened historically. We got integrated into a burning house, thanks to the civil rights movement, all this stuff, because we were doing our own thing and we were excelling and we were progressing. Look at all these Black Wall Street. We had our own, and we can get back to that. So I'm actually looking forward to this year, because I want them to tear it down so that we can build our own. So I'll end it there. So
Awesome, awesome. So we're looking at about 5 months. I really enjoyed this. You gotta send me those videos,
okay.
because you actually shrunk them down, and I can actually use those.
Yes.
I'll post them.
Okay,
So
yeah, I'll send
just
those.
send those 2 videos to me. So wow. I'm blown away. I am highly impressed.
Okay.
Wow, highly impressed.
This
I
is why
am.
technology worked.
Yes.
But we have a
Well,
quick question.
yes.
Has anyone read about the New Jersey state policy for new teachers not having to pass a comprehension reading test before hiring? I have not heard about that, but I do
Yeah,
know
man, I
that they're
can't. That's
doing
not. Yeah.
away with a lot of these tests because we are at a critical teaching shortage.
Oh, that's there. You go.
Post-COVID, a lot of folks quit, so now we need bodies. So now they've relaxed all the rules to get the
Mhm.
bodies back in,
Back in.
and then they're training them and giving them time to get their certification. But keep
Right.
in mind, this is the settler colonizers system, right? So they don't care who they put in front of your kids. So now we have to take control back and we have to be demanding of who is being put in front of our kids because guess what? They're taking tax dollars from us, right? So we have to demand that and care who are you putting in front of my child. So,
Awesome.
all right.
All right.
Thank you.
To get my books, go to mooresandmasonry.org. The light's been across the screen, flashing across the screen, strolling across the screen for the past 2 hours and 5 minutes. Any departing words?
Don't go into the coming year thinking doom and gloom. Go into the coming year thinking this is our chance. This is our chance to really organize. Get those people who are worried. No, don't worry because it's when they are worrying they don't have an idea of what tomorrow can be. So we can use that opportunity to show them what tomorrow can be through our tools and resources that we have through our organizations. So this is the time to organize.
Awesome. All right. We have next week, part 2, due process, the key to freedom, part 2 with King Al Bay. All right, King Al Bay will be doing part 2 with due process, the key to freedom. All right, so till next week with King Al Bay, and I have Brother Khalil will be doing his Masonic esoteric masonry on the third Monday. So we'll have Brother Khalil would actually complete that lesson, and then Elkanon will be the fourth Monday. He'll be the fourth Monday every month. Brother Elkanon Bay, 33rd degree, 97th degree, past Grandmaster. But for February, I have Grandmaster Cosmo L will be doing the fourth Monday, and Elkanon will do the third Monday for February. So we have Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple, Cosmo L. All right, so he's scheduled to be in New York, and that week of the 24th of February. So I was reached out by Brother Curtis, reached out to me last week and asked me could I have Brother Grand Sheik Cosmo L on my platform during that week. So Cosmo L will be on the February 24th. All right.
Yes.
Thank you again. When is your doctoral program over? When is you working on your dissertation now?
No, actually, I'm right now getting approved to go through IRB, which is kind of like institutional research board where I'm getting permission to do research on kids. So right now I'm working on that. And once that's in place, I'm actually going to try to go into an urban setting in DC public schools. So I'm going to use Washington, DC and try to work with our kids to help them improve their math skills. So I'm looking at how can we use language and etymology to build their math knowledge because we created math. There's no excuse why our kids are struggling in math. We created it. So that's where I'm looking at what is happening with that disconnect. And we do know that it's taught poorly.
Yes. All right.
So.
All right. So thank you again.
Yes.
I really enjoyed this. This is I'm not surprised because you not put a lot of time in.
Oh yeah, you're my teacher.
Yeah.
So
We put a lot of
that I
time
get
in.
an A for this lesson.
You got A plus. Yes. All right. So thank y'all for tuning in. Brother Hank, as always, thank you, brother, for this platform. I greatly appreciate you. Once again, for my books, go to mooresandmasonry.org. Till next week, Brother King Albay, due process, the key to freedom. Peace.